Yeah, it was a good competitive physical practice. It's good. I mean, there's, the good thing is, as we talked about yesterday, they're trading blows. There's times where, the offense will get a little bit of the upper hand and the defense will answer, and then the defense will get the upper hand and the offense will answer. So that's what you're looking for. But, there's a lot of guys competing for spots. That's what you want. And we've got some young guys that are starting to get a little more confidence and starting to show up a little bit more as well. So it's positive.
With Logan out, does that give Gibson at least a little bit of a shot as the nickel or as a two safety?
Yeah, I mean he's getting reps. I mean he's learning. I mean it's we knew it was going to be a little bit of a process, but it gives all those guys opportunities. It's one of those positions where we need to stay healthy. Wish we had a little more depth. And we need some young guys to emerge and continue to develop some guys. But Gibson's a good athlete. He's got a chance, and we'll see how he plays out. He didn't have as good a day probably today as he did yesterday. He showed up a little more yesterday than he did today. But we'll go and look at the tape and make the corrections.
With Logan, is it his ankle?
He's got a little foot deal. He's got a foot injury that he had. Like a small fracture in his foot that he got at the end of summer. So same deal. He could probably practice. We could probably push him through it, but we want to bring him along slowly, and we'll assess him early part of next week, and hopefully, get him cleared here pretty quickly.
With Hinnant being in red, obviously he had that horrific car accident back in November. Is he still kind of?
Yeah, we're going to bring him along. We're going to same thing with him. We're going to we just want everybody to say, hey, look. He feels good. He's good to go. I mean, there's, he had a pretty severe injury, and in particular, we just want to make sure we don't throw him in there too soon. So he's a guy that, could spend most of the fall in a red jersey, potentially. Same thing. We'll just continue to assess him and see where he is.
But he's not a guy that you need to.
No, we weren't. We're going to redshirt him anyway, more than likely, and weren't counting on. He's like most young offensive linemen. I mean, he needs some time to develop, and we think he's going to be a really good one, but we weren't counting on him playing.
With Tyndall kind of limited, what have you seen out of the guys at right tackle?
Good. Well, I've been really impressed with Stephen Moore at left tackle, and so that's kind of allowed us to tinker with what's going on, and we might start playing him a little bit on the right side potentially. So we'll see. Okafor has done some good things. I mean, he's a little inconsistent right now, probably thinking a little too much, but he's got a chance to, he's talented, he's athletic, he's potentially pretty dang good, but we just got to get him to come on a little bit and develop.
Talking about the DBs today, I think they had 5 interceptions.
Yeah, it was a good day. I mean, today we saw some guys make some plays on the ball. I mean, he's not a DB, but Jalen Jefferson I thought really stood out today. I mean, he is just playing so fast right now. Just sees things and is really comfortable and does a great job anticipating. He showed up, intercepted the first ball of the team period, and he just really showed up all day long. He's did some good things. Ika made a good play on the interception later in the scrimmage. I'm continue to be impressed with with Cam Jackson, just his, he's a competitive guy. And McClure, same thing. I mean, those guys, their strengths are the way that they compete and the way that they work. And they've both been real productive, and we feel real good about those guys right now. Sebastian showed up a little bit more today, made a couple breaks on some balls that were impressive, and we just got to keep them coming.
Coach, what are your thoughts on some of the fights that have been breaking out? Is that something that kind of excites you sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, you want to see competitive. I mean, the good thing is the guys, the thing is they're not, getting out of hand. You want guys competing against each other, and they know, guys may get in a shoving match or whatever, and then it's over. And then the big thing we've got to learn from it is, obviously we talked about this, it's a great opportunity to teach when something like that happens, and we got to make sure we stay on the sideline, and we emphasize that, make sure guys don't come off the sideline, and how in a game situation that can be, potentially devastating. So it's an opportunity to teach, and but that's football, and that happens. It happens at every level. I mean, you watch NFL practice. I mean, there's going to be some guys mix it up from time to time, and it's what you want. I've been places where, I was begging them to fight, and nobody cared enough to fight. And so the good thing is, and no one was competitive enough to fight. And luckily, we're not having to deal with those issues because those are much bigger issues than a couple of guys shoving each other.
Quarterbacks seem to be mixed a little bit more, whereas the last 2 days it's always one guy got.
Yeah. We rolled some guys through a little bit more today, but I thought they all did well. I mean, I thought today probably was Jared's best day. He looked more comfortable today than he did the other 2 days. But I thought Zach continued to look pretty good. I mean, he's gotten better and better every practice, and Austin's done some good stuff as well. So. Feel good about those guys. I don't know that there's been the separation yet. Still probably a little early. We'll start to see one of those guys get a little bit more settled and a little more confident. And typically you guys will know it about the same time we do when the starter kind of takes the reins. And you don't really, you say, well, how do you know when it happened? I mean, you don't really. You get that sense, and his teammates start to respond to him, and you just say, okay, here's the guy, and we're going to try to let it happen naturally, and if it doesn't happen, then we'll force the issue a little bit.